time, it's just all about survival. Just get this guy out of the house. Just get him out.
A man is in the hospital after an officer-involved shooting in Beaverton. Police tell us this followed a string of felonies in Hillsborough. Now the impacted victims are speaking out. Good evening and thanks for joining us for KT News at 11. I'm Deborah Knapp. KT's Megan Allison shows us how one family fought to stay alive after the suspect in this case broke into their home.
I spoke with one of the victims who says when the suspect burst through the front door, the only thing on his mind was protecting his family. Now that homeowner is on edge, trying to mentally recover from this unusual crime.
I don't know if he opened the door or if he crawled through, but he was in within, honest to goodness, probably a second or second and a half. It went that quickly.
William Sparks says he was watching TV Thursday night when the commotion started. Sparks' father tackled the man who came through the door. Sparks tells us the suspect then grabbed his father's service weapon.
He lunged at me with a knife, which caught here. And last night it was bleeding like a son of a gun. I'm letting it air out right now. But in any event, there's about a 3-minute fight.
Sparks says the suspect hit him over the head with his father's gun several times.
And I thought in my mind, in the 10 seconds it takes me to run back and grab my loaded 12 gauge and come back, my father could be stabbed to death. And so I thought, I'd rather, if I'm going to die tonight, it's going to be in defense of my father.
Police are now identifying that suspect as 40-year-old Patrick Robertson. They tell us Robertson attempted to steal another car before approaching this home. Then after, broke into a different house on the street and stole a car there before leading officers on a chase, later pointing a gun at law enforcement. Hillsborough police say they shot him in response, and he's now in the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
And I just prayed all night, thanking the Lord. I said, my father could have been shot. I could have been killed. My 83-year-old mother was in the back room. She could have been hurt. So I think it went as well as it possibly could have.
For those living and working in the Pearl, homeless camps are an ongoing concern. In the last few months, the local neighborhood association took it into their own hands to find a solution. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of K2 News. I'm Catherine Kissel. K2's Megan Allison joins us live from Northwest Portland tonight. And Megan, it sounds like the cleanups out there are getting some pushback now. What's going on?
Yeah, Catherine, the Pearl District Neighborhood Association partnered with the group We Heart Portland to clean up camps near I-405. They connected campers with services, picked up trash, and put up fences to prevent people from coming back. But you can see now those fences are gone after pushback from the Department of Transportation.
Stan Penkin says when his association dedicated $10,000 to this cleanup effort, they were aware they did not have a permit. In the months that followed, the Oregon Department of Transportation stepped in.
ODOT gave us a deadline to take down the fencing, and we did not. They ultimately took it down. And as a result, if you go over there now, you will see campers are back, trash is back.
ODOT tells us they did not find the fencing in these spots to be effective, and they're now working with the association to adopt a landscape permit to help maintain the area.
When we take some of these down, and we have been taking down these inappropriate fences, we've got to make sure that they are appropriate enough. They've got to work with them to make sure that we get proper facilities up in these areas.
Both the Neighborhood Association and ODOT tell us they recognize city and county agencies are overwhelmed, and they want to collaborate to find a solution moving forward.
Well, I think the purpose is pretty clear. There are 4 congressional races here within about 120 miles, 3 of them in Oregon and 1 in Washington. They could help determine who controls the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. And the second thing is we have a very competitive governor's race, and he wants to come in and sway voters and raise some money and get it towards Tina Kotek. We saw Barack Obama do the same kind of thing. He came in for a Kitzhaber fundraiser in 2010. So not unexpected that we see this, but always good to see the president come and pay attention to where we are.
What kind of impact could this have on the midterms, Jim?
Well, it's interesting because remember, Biden's approval ratings are actually pretty low. They bounced back a little bit, but they're still pretty low. And so clearly Democrats here have made the decision that it's better to have him come here, have pictures with the candidates and him that they can use in ads, also get all the free attention that will be on them and their issues while he's here during Friday and Saturday next week. So they've looked at it and said, it's a good thing to have the president come here. Notice this would be a different answer in different parts of the country where Biden is much less popular and Democrats are much weaker than they are here.
Oh, you talked about those low polling numbers for President Biden. Do you think the candidates, for the most part, will be receptive that he's here, or will there be some say, keep your distance?
I think they'll all be receptive. We're looking at a case where the candidates, especially for Congress and the governor, it's nip and tuck for all of them. And anything that gets Democrats to turn out in higher percentage numbers is a good thing. And the president will be able to do that. You notice something else that's different about this. The president's been here. He was here in April, but we're usually flyover country. They go to a big fundraiser in Seattle. They stop here for a few hours. Then the president goes to San Francisco for another big fundraiser, spend the night. Now it's spend the night here in Oregon. We are clearly the focus. We're clearly the important thing in the national spotlight.